Observer's Log Supplemental. Welcome to From 60,000 Light Years, a Star Trek podcast. I am Jay Clark, one of your observers. Your other observer, my good friend on the other side, Trekkie B47. If you've been following us through any time, we thank you. We've been going through all the franchises and iterations of our beloved franchise, Star Trek, on its way to a 60th anniversary. And we come to you today because not only is it our 1 year anniversary, we kicked this off a year ago, but it is also the official start of the 60th year for this franchise. So we just, with a lot going on, we just wanted to come to you as a special treat today. Please like, share, subscribe, and quickly discuss our thoughts on the current state of the franchise and kind of where we would like things to go or some things we'd like to see. So, Eric, with all
Yes.
that's been going on, what's something that has stood out to you in these last couple months? Of course, we're talking merger, we're talking shows canceled. Like, what is just something that has stood out to you as we go on? Or no, sorry. Let's start this off right.
All right.
Star Trek, 60 years. We're heading towards it. Thoughts?
It's an incredible milestone. I was surprised 10 years ago when it was 50 years. And to think that this past decade has flown by and has actually given us a significant amount of Star Trek. Star Trek that I thought I would never see or even anticipate. None of us had any idea that Patrick Stewart would come back as Jean-Luc Picard, that the entire Next Generation cast would come back for that third season of Picard, and the fact that we've gone so many shows, an animated series that's probably some of the best Star Trek out there. Wait, not just one animated series, two animated series that are probably the best out there.
Easy.
And for me personally, as someone who just loves Star Trek Voyager and Enterprise, I did not realize or anticipate how much love those two particular series would get in terms of like Easter eggs and comebacks and all of that. So I think the last 10 years have been a wild ride. The past year, I think the most surprising is, kind of like Netflix dropping Prodigy. And I'm actually surprised that we haven't got a third season greenlit. But I can still have hope because despite all the messiness of the Paramount and Sundance merger, they're actually appointing someone who's a fan of sci-fi and particularly Star Trek to kind of lead the original programming department. So I really hope that the 60th anniversary, because we've still got Strange New Worlds, we've still got Starfleet Academy, but I hope that people up top kind of step back, take a breather, see what 60 years means to so many fans and what Star Trek means to fans, and really come up with a strategy, whether that be Star Trek Legacy or Prodigy Season 3 or something completely wild, but also within the spirit of Star Trek. And that's what I really hope. And, as Dr. Flock says, optimism, Captain, optimism.
Right there with you. I mean, just from the high level, there's no franchise. There's no franchise, and we will touch more on that in a bigger when the time comes. But this is one of one type of stuff. When you look at impact, length, and all that, I think we're at an interesting point, as you mentioned, that we're not out of the streaming era yet by any means, shape, or form, but we're out of this phase of the streaming era where it was kind of we're trying to throw a lot at the wall and see what sticks. And I think especially with Trek, that got us a lot of Trek, a lot of different Trek, as we will be analyzing.
Yep.
And I think I'm hoping, especially based off the last year and a half with like the end of Picard, the end of Disco, Prodigy, the end of Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds is in its own special bucket. But it felt like there was some good energy and momentum, and then it kind of, with all that's going on, the merger talks and budgeting, things kind of seem stop. And to be honest, if anybody getting it. I'm happy Skydance did because it seems like they will care in a way that nobody has in a long time, especially with, their work on the Kelvin universe movie. So
Right.
there is optimism. There is hope. We'll see.
We'll
Um,
see.
we'll see.
I'm like good skeptical.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we can be optimistic, but we can also be a little cautious. Also, especially because of the political climate and certain things with Paramount and Skydance and all that.
You said that real quick before you move on. I gotta say, if anything, if there is a time it seems we need Star Trek,
Oh, 100%. This is the time that we need Star Trek. And I hope we have some amazing storytelling. I hope there is room for new voices in Star Trek. And just to carry that vision of the future.
looking forward to what the future holds as we go throughout year 60. We're not going to be here for a long time, but before we get out of here, because we are fans, and when I think of like this time now, I think of childhood, or I think of how that monoculture of what we know and experience about anniversaries, milestones, and things of this nature used to be important. You would see real effort, momentum to celebrate these types of things. So if you had your
Mm.
will, what would be two or three things that you're like, I would love to see officially, throughout this year to the eventual what we will mark as the 60th birthday for this franchise? What would be like just you'd love to see this kind of activation or this kind of campaign just to celebrate Star Trek?
I would love to see, especially as Voyager approaches its
Mm.
30th anniversary, which is crazy. Um, a remaster for it and Deep Space Nine. I think they deserve it. And we've talked about that before. But I think if the franchise really wanted to kick things off, and I know Blu-ray and DVD sales, it's, they're not the best. Physical media is not the best. But because we are in the streaming era, you're also preserving it for the future, not
Mm.
just physically, but digitally. And it can be like, an original series where you still have the original way that it was made available, because I think that's valuable. But I also think that, especially as resolutions get higher and TVs get
Mm.
better and cheaper and more people have access to larger screens, just the preservation of like those two core shows, because Enterprise was already made in the digital realm. It already has like a very nice Blu-ray transfer. You don't need to do anything with Enterprise. So to have like those core series, especially Deep Space Nine, and
Yeah.
I think that would be one mandate. I know digital restoration is very expensive these days, but I think it needs to happen before the technology to preserve that film disappears. So I think if there's any time to do it, it's now. Otherwise, I would just want to see them possibly tease what the future is going to hold. I'm not saying announce a whole new
Mm.
series, but at least a promise that we're going to keep Trek alive. And, whether they announce maybe another season of Starfleet Academy, even though they're already got, two promised,
They just
or
started season, like literally the other day. Season two
yep.
is filming, so that's coming. Yep.
So just something to give us more, just a promise. I think fans owe a promise. Um, and then third, I don't know, can we bring like the movies or an event to the big screen again? We're seeing Ninja Turtles, we're seeing Back to the Future, we're seeing
Hmm.
all these classic films, Jaws make a comeback, and Fathom Events did these wonderful events years ago that I really enjoyed seeing
Right.
Star Trek on the big screen. Bring it back. I would love to experience First Contact on the big screen again, or, you know, Undiscovered Country, or literally any of these fantastic movies. Heck, I would love to see the 2009 Star Trek on the big screen again.
Give me
Not
one
Into
every couple
Darkness.
weeks. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
I'll be
Yeah.
right there.
A Star Trek movie marathon leading up to the 60th anniversary date. Like, what a fun way to have your summer movies, but with a Star Trek twist. So, what about you? What are three things that you would love to see announced or.
You're right there with me. Like, so I want like yeah, the remastering, yeah, check. I had that in my
Yeah.
mind. Kind of like the movies. I ideally this the bit I'd like to see this not be something like, oh, almost a year from now, it's like, okay, Star Trek 60, we're going to talk about it. It's like, no, I'd like to see, it don't need to start now, but soon as we hit like 2026, give me a long campaign of stuff. What that stuff is, yeah, it could be the movies return to theatrics. It could be, I'd love to see like some kind of documentary or something about Trek's importance of not just to sci-fi, but just as we've talked about television in general and some overarching stuff, which we're doing fine. They can stay away from, but if they want to talk to us, hey, we're here for it.
Right.
But yeah, just treat it like something. That's
Treat it
really
like
what
an
it comes.
event.
Treat it like it is something. I said, not just on the day, not just maybe a week before. Like, give me some activations throughout the year that let me know let me know that you care as a company. You understand what this franchise is to you and the landscape of, again, of history, television, entertainment
Yeah.
here, and just sprinkle some stuff throughout so that I don't feel like it's like, hey, yeah, we hit Star Trek 60 years and it came
And
and
it's not some
gone.
like social media
Yeah.
post that I have to
Yeah.
post.
Or
Yeah.
or or you save some big announcement for some project that's not going to come to a year and a half later. It's like make it so that this time feels special. For me, that's what it comes down to. And look, again, as you mentioned, optimism, it's in the right hands. I don't feel
And
bad. There's hope.
yeah,
There's
and
potential.
maybe now that the merger is over, they can concentrate on the 60th anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's important.
Because you know the product's coming out. Like I said, we know the shows that we will be getting next year. Everybody's kind of assuming right now. I think Strange New World, the next season of Strange New Worlds will probably align in some way around this time of year. So there's things in the motion, yeah, but just follow through.
One more thing I thought of,
Hmm.
a return to an official Star Trek convention. They tried with Mission Chicago, and that was the
Yeah,
only one. Unfortunately, I got to go to that, but then they like fizzled out and didn't do the others for whatever reason. Have an official Star Trek convention where during the 60th anniversary, and not just the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, which is like a creation thing and it's not official, like, or Star Trek have an official appearance at the major conventions, C2E2,
yeah,
New York
yeah.
Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. Don't just have San Diego Comic Con. Like, I don't want a year from now all the announcements to be in
Right,
one
right.
panel at San Diego Comic Con. I like you, I want it to be spread out throughout the year. And many events happen throughout the years, like Emerald City Comic Con, like all these big conventions that you could do in different spots to give fans a chance to experience Star Trek. And God, pull out some props, pull out some costumes from the
Oh,
new shows. Like, that's what I loved about like Mission Fleet Chicago. They had all the props from like Picard and like all
yeah.
those like skeleton those skulls that were in the second season. So just something to put a little bit effort to reach out to the fans,
Show
something like
again.
that.
Show me you care. That's at the end of the day. Show
Yeah.
me you care, and not just in a one big blobbed out thing on the day. But hit us in the comments. Let us know what are some things you would really love to
Yeah.
see as we enter this 60th year for our beloved franchise. Day one of 60. Here we go. And once again, what we do here is we've been looking through every franchise on this iteration. We just dropped Disco, our first part of Star Trek Discovery. So that's our most recent episode. We've covered everything prior to that. And we invite you to like, share, join the crew as we continue our journey from 60,000 light years. But in the meantime, continue to stay safe out there. Enjoy some good Trek while you can. Once again, Star Trek, happy birthday, my friend. enjoy. I know you'll find a way
Oh,
to
yeah.
to celebrate in your way, and I shall in my own too. But until then, we'll see y'all next month. Live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper.